Hello and welcome to Why Wasn't It Better? I am your host, Patrick Darms.
And I'm your co-host, Anton Paras.
And on this episode, we're heading into a new format because this time we aren't looking back at a film from years past or even watching a recent film. We have a couple huge movies dropping with the remainder of this summer, and we are launching a very special new style of episode here at Why Wasn't It Better? We're hitting the Kalshi prediction markets to bet real cash on exactly where that Rotten Tomatoes score will land and how high or low we think these upcoming films will soar. Those two films, the Odyssey and Spider-Man, Brand New Day. Anton, why this is your idea?
Yeah, I mean Kalshi's a very hot thing. As of this recording, it's all over the World Cup, is it not?
It is. I thought it was a great suggestion on your part. It's just something, we're always looking for bonus types of episodes to do, right? That aren't necessarily covering movies. We do ranking episodes. We did an Oscars episode. We did an episode, unfortunately, to honor the life of one of our favorite all-time actors, Cary Hiroyuki Tagawa. But yeah, this was, I think, a great idea on your part.
I really appreciate that. I'm excited to dig in. I think the whole prediction market is just fascinating. It's a place where I think a lot of folks, typically their minds go to sports on predictions,
right.
But it's literally everything. And movies are just another category that people can predict on and see if their investment follows through. I don't know what's going to happen regulation-wise in the long term, but for now, prediction markets are here to stay, and you can bet on how Rotten Tomato scores will land for films. So let's go.
From what I've seen, it does seem to be the Wild West.
It really, really is. Because we'll talk a little bit more about how the prediction markets really work. And it's interesting because, especially in a state like California, the actual laws around sports betting on official apps like FanDuel, it's not allowed. You can't bet on a sports score. You can't bet on which team's going to win. But you can bet on the prediction on Kalshi. So it's a really weird loophole.
I'm sure the officials in Sacramento won't let that last long.
Yeah, we shall see. But
if there's something they can regulate, California will do it.
It's true. But like you said, it's a Wild West, and I think people are having a lot of fun with it.
Well, I'll intro the first film. It's The Odyssey. It's releasing in just a few days, July 17th, by Universal Pictures and Syncope, distributed by Universal. It's directed by Christopher Nolan. The screenplay is written by him as well. It is, of course, based on The Odyssey by Homer. It stars Matt Damon, Tom Holland, Anne Hathaway, Robert Pattinson, Lupita Nyong'o, Zendaya, and Charlize Theron. The budget is listed at $250 million. Is that official? Because I know you can bet on that on Kalshi too.
It's still, of course, just estimated, not official yet.
I have a feeling that will be accurate, just based on what I know about Christopher Nolan. He's pretty good about keeping budgets under control, even though, of course, he does work with very large budgets. But you take a look something like Oppenheimer. Kind of amazing that it only had $100 million budget with all those actors in it.
Yeah, and The Odyssey, a lot of actors.
Yeah.
And a lot of production investment, of course, film in IMAX, a lot of new technologies also being infused. So
a lot of, it looked like massive actual sets constructed.
Yeah. A lot of practical effect and structures. It's a lot. Yeah. I mean, we're already hinting it a little bit, but that sounds like a pretty hyped up film.
What about our second film?
Well, our second film today, Spider-Man Brand New Day, it's releasing later this month on July 31st, 2026. It's being released by Columbia Pictures, Marvel Studios, and Pascal Pictures, distributed by Sony Pictures. It's directed by Destin Daniel Cretton, screenplay by Chris McKenna, Eric Sommers, and Justin Kirkitz. Starring Tom Holland.
Is that a character from The Odyssey?
Could be. Maybe he's the Cyclops.
Kirkitz?
Yeah. Starring Tom Holland, Zendaya, Sadie Sink, Jacob Batalon, John Bernthal, Tramell Tillman, Michael Mando, and Mark Ruffalo. Now, the budget still to be determined, with a box office also to be determined. And our Rotten Tomatoes score, well, we're going to make some guesses on that, aren't we?
TBD, that's right. Sidebar really quick. This is a pretty historically great year for Zendaya. She's in the Odyssey, Spider-Man, and Dune.
Yeah, I mean, she's been one of the hottest stars of this decade. And
This might be a career year for her, though. I mean, that'd be hard to top that.
And it's I think other stars that they talk about big years just because they've been involved in large films. Scarlett Johansson comes to mind as like a recent actress who was in, of course, the Jurassic Park series and the Marvel series. But Zendaya in her own right, a lot of very big films this year.
Yeah, the Odyssey and Dune are another level. Like,
yeah,
I don't want to belittle a Spider-Man movie, but it's like, all right, she's in many of these Marvel movies. She's in the Spider-Man movies at this point. It's like, right, she was going to be in it, but getting picked for the Odyssey, getting picked
for, what is it, Gen Z's Star Wars, basically.
Is she in Star Wars?
I mean, what I'm saying is Dune is going to be Gen Z Star Wars.
Oh, I think, yeah, in some ways, yeah, I think you're right. It's so wild to think about that. It's being, I kind of love the fact that this 60-year-old IP is being embraced by Gen Z. It's kind of cool.
Oh, absolutely. And there's fans who have been longtime fans of the books who are happy to see it come to fruition, and so just executed so successfully. And yeah, we can, who knows, depending on how much fun we have with this one, we could always do a part 2 in our predictions for how Dune 3 will turn out.
Yeah, listeners, if you like this type of episode, write in and tell us. If you don't like this type of episode, write in and tell us. If it was like with the ranking ones, we did one as an experiment, and feedback was great, numbers were great, so we did more. If we'll do the same thing with this, the Kalshi recordings. It sounds very official. Sounds like something you'd see on 60 Minutes. Let's join Patrick Doms and Anton Paris for the Kalshi recordings. Well, it sounds like the pseudo tornado thunderstorm has passed for the moment.
You're safe.
Yes, thankfully. And yes, for some of the listeners who may be doubting this, North Carolina does get tornadoes. I was just as surprised to learn that when I moved here.
The only tornadoes we see here, at least in the Bay Area, are if you put on Twister or Twisters on the TV. It's about it.
Yeah, I guess how many films feature tornadoes? Day After Tomorrow?
In there.
Tornadoes in Los Angeles.
Sharknado, that's another one.
Right. The Wizard of Oz, famously.
That's true. Very, very famous one. In that same vein, Wicked.
Is there a tornado in Wicked?
Has to be, because it's Wizard of Oz, right?
I don't know. I've never seen it.
I mean, it is Wizard of Oz, so there's a tornado in it.
Right. Is there one in Return to Oz? I feel like there is, right?
Oh, The Wiz. There is, yeah.
Was that a tornado or was that a Harlem snowstorm?
It was a good call. Good call.
I don't think it was a tornado. Yeah. That would have been ridiculous to have a tornado in the middle of New York City. Unrealistic.
First off, there's a lot of ridiculous things about that film.
But that would have been a bridge too far.
Okay. Fair enough.
That's where I would have drawn the line in my dislike for The Wiz. I can't wait to cover that.
Still a very freaky film.
Do you like it?
I can't say that I do. It's not, I don't hate it, but I don't
No, I don't hate it. No.
Yeah. I can't say that like I go out of my way to watch it.
Fair. Well, the Kalshi recordings, part 1.
All right. Let's dig in.
So we both have predictions on this, right? On these things. I had to dig deep on mine for Spider-Man because I frankly... We'll talk about the Rotten Tomato scores of the other ones, and I was kind of blown away.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see. So Anton, how do these prediction markets work?
No, I love that very convenient question. So, very simply, we have to think of a prediction market like a stock market. So instead of buying shares in like a company, you're buying shares in the truth of a future event. Markets exist for everything from Federal Reserve interest rate hikes, award show winners, sporting events, and now, of course, you can also include Rotten Tomato scores for films. So Kalshi is a regulated financial exchange where event contracts are traded. So every contract, you can think of it like a share, is framed as a simple yes or no question. So, for example, will Supergirl score above 75% Rotten Tomatoes?
No.
And you can invest in that. We already know the answer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But you can invest in that. And that contract will trade between $1.99. The price of the contract directly reflects the market's current estimated probability of that happening. If a yes contract costs 54 cents, the market thinks there's a 54% chance that that movie hits that threshold. So that's simply enough. You can just think of it, you're buying a share on a prediction, and that's why the price can fluctuate over time. Just to quickly go into it, when you buy a contract, let's say you buy $10 on a prediction, $10 isn't just a lump sum bet, you're buying individual shares. So you have to think of it, again, like a market. If you win, so let's say that the movie hits a threshold, so let's say Supergirl actually did hit above 75%, then every yes contract that you bought with that lump sum becomes that value. So let's say it became $1, you had bet $20, or you had bet $18, and it turns into $18 because you had bet that on a $1 contract per bet, right? So your net profit is $8. You've made 85.2% return on your money. Cool?
Hypothetically, let's say Supergirl wasn't a disaster.
So if it gets panned, misses, you get zero. Yeah.
Unless you play the dark side and you bet against it.
You can also bet against it. And there's also prediction markets exactly for predicting against a film if it's not going to go above a score. And you can actually cash out your prediction if the percentage improves before the results. So let's say that you're predicting that it will be above 54%, but then results change and the chances of actually a Rotten Tomato score improves, then your share value actually improves. So you can sell on that, make money still. You're not going to get the full value if it doesn't necessarily net out, but you still actually at a better advantage. You can think of it like your stock market investment improves as the stock cost improves. So it's a really interesting thing. But again, all in all, this is just a really nice loophole for people to be degenerates and basically gamble on everything.
But we're not endorsing that.
Exactly. We're not. We're just having some fun with already what we would do, which I think is the fun of the kind of episode, which is where do we already predict where films will land. Why don't we put some money where our mouth is, if you'd like to? So that's the explanation, quick explanation on Kalshi and prediction markets. Again, I want to put a disclaimer. I'm not an expert. So anyone that is an expert on prediction markets, please correct me if there's anything that I may have missed or may have misconstrued. But essentially, from my understanding, it is basically just a prediction market.
Right. Another disclaimer I think is worth pointing out. We are not offering gambling advice.
Nope. Heck no.
No. All we're talking about is what we think is going to happen. That's it.
Yeah.
These are just the opinions of two podcasters.
Yeah, exactly. And with that, our podcast, Why Wasn't It Better? I think it's a pretty good segue into a promo break.
As always, we want to thank everyone for listening. If you're liking the show and you haven't done this already, please follow, please subscribe, leave comments, leave us a 5-star review, most importantly. It's great for the algorithm. A special thank you to everyone who is sharing our content with friends. They're posting clips. They're helping to spread the word. It genuinely makes a difference. You can also find us on the social media platforms, Instagram, X, and Letterboxd. That is one of the easiest ways to follow us. And of course, if you'd really like to support us, we do have a Patreon. Members get access to episodes at least a full week early, ad-free, plus some bonus content. And we've begun putting more and more episodes behind the paywall. So it's the best way to get even more Why Wasn't It Better? Links to everything are in the description. All right, Anton, what do you bet and why? Let's talk about the Odyssey first.
Okay. Well, I think it's important when thinking about predictions on Rotten Tomato scores. Let's take a quick look at how Christopher Nolan is netted out in his most recent films. Dunkirk, I think we all love Dunkirk over here, does really well at 92%. Tenet, it's a bit more of a mixed bag, and I think it was one of the most surprising films for Christopher Nolan. 70%.
Is that his worst performing Rotten Tomatoes
it's his
score?
worst performing film at 70%. So it's not terrible, but not the same critical praise you'd expect for someone like Christopher Nolan.
I'd say terrible for him.
Exactly what I'm saying. It's for films in general, there are a lot of films that wish they could get 70%.
Right. Well, that film didn't deserve it, but
yeah. So then,
how do I really feel?
Yeah.
There's no way to know from that comment.
Right. Now, Oppenheimer, 93%. So 3 very different films. And what's your thoughts? Do you feel like, I'm sure you agree, Nolan typically puts out a pretty dang good film.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we're huge Nolan fans here on Why Wasn't It Better?
Yeah,
I mean, so the embargo hasn't been lifted on this yet. So there's not even an early indicator. I've read some positive stuff about this film already. Are you asking me where I think it's going to land?
I mean, let's just start to speculate a little bit, and then we can we can talk about where we think it's going to land. But I really like where you're going. So there's been a lot of early praise, right? Like you said,
it seems that way. Yeah. By the way, I don't count the, let's call it, internet reactions towards certain casting choices.
Right. That's all speculative. I don't think that should really, I mean, that speculation I don't think is as impactful as a lot of other elements, which is Nolan's track record, which for the most part, like I'd say for literally 99% of his films is pretty spot on, right?
He hits a lot of triples.
Yeah. And so minus Tenet, which when eventually we cover Tenet, we can talk more about what happened there. It's
I've never finished it.
That doesn't shock me.
I haven't been able to get through it.
Yeah, honestly, it doesn't shock me. But the Odyssey, just to kind of go back to it, this is the kind of, there's so much hype around this because Christopher Nolan is probably the modern day, I would say, like he's like the modern day Steven Spielberg, with Steven Spielberg, of course, much respect, having just released Disclosure Day.
To some degree, yeah, I think he is. I know what you mean, and I agree with you. He is the modern day Spielberg, but I also have to give myself pause.
Mm-hmm.
There is no equivalent to Steven Spielberg, in my opinion.
Right, but I mean,
could Christopher Nolan direct Schindler's List? I don't think so.
No, but when I think about the impact on
absolutely, yes,
and I think you can kind of count on that ability to put together a blockbuster. Like Nolan, like you said, he hits triples all the time.
He really does.
Yeah.
The hype for this is enormous. I mean, the subject matter alone, the source material alone.
Yeah.
There hasn't really been there's been attempts at this in the past, but like TV related stuff, nothing like this.
Yeah. I mean, the Odyssey is all over media. There's so many adaptations on TV. Like, correct me if I'm wrong, Jason and the Argonauts is an adaptation of the Odyssey.
I think, like part of it.
Yeah.
I think.
Which is like a long-standing Hollywood classic, of course. Brother, Where Art Thou is probably one of the more modern takes on the Odyssey.
Yeah.
Which, again, not a full-on adaptation of Odysseus' story, but this is a really ambitious film, and it's perfectly fits the DNA of a Christopher Nolan film, with having something like the Odyssey and all of the fantastical elements and investments in what we talked about, right? Which is capturing it in IMAX, the scale of it, all the practical production.
I'm looking forward to it. I really am.
And I mean, let's think about the cast. This is a star-studded cast.
A lot of big names: Matt Damon, Anne Hathaway, Tom Holland, Robert Pattinson, Zendaya.
I mean,
John Bernthal is in it. He's playing Menelaus.
Yep.
It's just funny to think about.
Are we kind of thinking about Troy a little bit?
100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's the juiciest part about this, right? It's like that Nolan had an opportunity to direct Troy, didn't, passed on it in favor of pursuing Batman Begins, which I think we can all agree that worked out well for everyone. I think Wolfgang Peterson did a fine job with Troy.
Right.
I do wonder about Nolan on that, right? Has this always been in the back of his mind? Like, do you think 23 years ago in the back of his mind, he thought, all right, I'm not going to do Troy, but if my career goes the way I want it to go, if my career goes the way I want it to go, one day I'm going to do the Odyssey.
I think that's probably the perfect way and the most romantic way we can think about it.
I'm amazed no one's asked him that yet, because he's done a lot of press for this. He's been on 60 Minutes, or maybe I just haven't seen him answer that question. It seems like a really great question to ask him, though. Like, you had this thing that happened all these years ago. 23 years later, you're doing this. What's up?
Yeah, and I think even with that very personal touch, there's something that we have to think about, which is effort and scale. And his last film, Oppenheimer, we think about the scale, the effort, the cast, everything put into that film and how successful that film was. Do we feel like there's the perception is this film also meets that same level of effort?
Also, with comparisons to someone like Spielberg, yeah, the expectations are always going to be sky high. The hype is going to be sky high. I mean, I think he, meaning Nolan, shouldn't think of that as a bad thing, and I don't think he does. He's embracing it. He's earned that level. When you get that level of hype, it means you're good. It means you know what you're doing. It means you have a proven track record. That's why I think some of the internet reactions about the casting in this film are frankly ridiculous. It's like, guys, if there's anyone that has earned our trust at this point, it should be Christopher Nolan.
Yeah, and we can talk a bit about that. So there's, not feeding into any of the criticism, but at least just commenting on it. Of course, there's a bit of criticism on casting Lupita Nyong'o as Helen of Troy. And there's a lot of question marks about just the size of this cast. It's massive. I mean, equally as massive as I feel like as massive as Oppenheimer. So how do you have all of these stars shine in a film like this? But I think to your point, I have to go back to, I think those criticisms are invalid in terms of like, you got to trust Nolan. And I feel like he has a really good track record with large casts.
Of course. Yeah. And it's just so funny that like, I've heard people saying like, he didn't even cast any Greek characters in it. I'm like, oh, you mean the Odyssey? You mean the mythological fictional story? Like, Anton, I found this out yesterday and I'm kind of offended. As someone who has a one-eyed dog, they didn't even cast a real Cyclops in this movie. I think it's going to be special effects.
Yeah, I think that's a shout out to all Cyclops out there.
Yes. My cycloptic colleague.
Yeah.
Great Austin Powers line. Remember? Dr. Evil says that. Evidently, my cycloptic colleague has informed me.
That's incredible. Well, I did want to like mention more names just because this is like a massive list of people. Just kind of fun for listeners. I mean, there's Charlize Theron, Benny Safdie, who I really, really love Benny Safdie in Oppenheimer because he was the one scientist that, of course, was always trolling Oppenheimer. John Leguizamo.
Shout out. Love John Leguizamo.
He's part of Odysseus's crew.
Love it. Love hearing that.
Yeah. There's also Mia Goth. Interesting. She's had a bit of a career being in horror films and then more indie films. This is a big film for her. Get this. Rapper Travis Scott is in the film.
Has he done acting?
Not that I can recall. So this is a pretty big one to appear in.
This is the Harry Styles thing from Dunkirk.
Yeah.
Although I guess Harry Styles didn't stage a concert where a bunch of people got killed, but whatever.
Right. Yeah. Always forget that about the Travis Scott. But hey, he has really popular Jordans, right?
He does. Pretty awesome Jordans, I gotta say.
Yeah. And then just another name, Elliot Page, who's worked with Nolan for years.
Right. As a character, I don't even remember from the Odyssey. Sinan?
Yeah.
I don't even
know.
remember who that was.
But yeah, it's a large cast, and like there's a lot more names. I mean, you already mentioned John Bernthal, who it's really interesting. I think if depending on how much more we have to say about the Odyssey, you can look at the cast for the Odyssey and see that there's a lot of people that are also going to be in Brand New Day, John Bernthal included.
Big year for John Bernthal.
Yeah, but yeah, it's a big cast. This is also, I mean, there's a lot of hype. There's just so much hype. This is Tom Holland's first Christopher Nolan film. This is also Zendaya's first Christopher Nolan film.
Right.
So
no Michael Caine.
No Michael. Yeah, and he's retired.
He's retired. I'm hoping Kenneth Branagh can make a cameo because he's kind of become he's the new Michael Caine of Christopher Nolan movies in a way.
It's true. Nothing listed right now, but you never know.
Love that guy. I love the whole cast. I'm not worried about any of this. I'm really not.
I just got really excited because do you know who else is in this film?
Anne Hathaway,
Will Yoon Lee.
Oh,
Colonel
Moon, Colonel Santon Moon himself.
Yep, he's in this film. Which is is
he playing an Argentinian diamond dealer?
He's part of Odysseus's crew.
Love it. Oh man, maybe it's a Greek guy who underwent DNA replacement therapy.
Yeah. Well, we'll see where they end up going with this, but I'm definitely of the camp that Nolan knows what he's doing. I think it's the only thing going against, there's nothing going against this film. I think expectations are definitely not. Their expectations are very high. I think the only thing that we have to consider is like what's going against a Kalshi prediction. It's like, do you predict too high? You don't want to predict too low. We can wait to do our scores, but
I'm looking at it now. It says a lot about Nolan what the actual predictions are.
Yeah. Well, shall we talk about Brand New Day and then we can do our guesses at the end?
I thought we were going to guess this one first.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and guess. So
yeah, I thought you were teeing me up for that. I was all excited.
Yeah. Let's do it. So I'm on Kalshi right now. And so where do you guess the Odyssey Rotten Tomatoes score will land?
Well, I mean,
above 90?
I think it's going to be above 85.
Okay, that's a very safe bet. So
yeah, it's not much of a bet on my part. I know that.
So for listeners, if you bet above 85, let's say that Pat, are you pretty sure about your bet?
Oh yeah.
All right, so let's call it a $20 bet then. If you bet $20 and the Odyssey actually scores above 85, you'll get you will get a payout of 1.15x. So if you put $20 in and we actually do get above 85% Rotten Tomatoes score, you'll earn $23 total.
Like I said, not much of a bet.
Yeah, so a $3 return. 85, let's go ahead. I'm going to lock that in at 85. So on my end, I'm going to be a bit more I'm going to go ahead and say that this film is going to be above 90. I really do think that this is the amount, the hype, the effort, and just the spectacle of this film. It reminds me of old Hollywood, and I'm really excited for it. I'm guessing that it's going to be above 90, in which case a $20 bet, if successful, $29.90 gets paid out. So I'm going to go ahead and lock that in.
Wait, so what? Hang on. Question for you. What if it hits 90? You don't get it.
Yes, that's true. If it hits flat 90, I don't get it.
It almost feels like there should be one that says above 89. Like, you know how with NBA stuff you can predict wins, like 42 and a half, stuff like that. I almost wish it had that, but it's not that. It's a different thing. I get it.
All right. So then let me also lock in this other score, which is above 85. All right. So we're all set.
There's something I wish I could bet on right now that I would if it were available.
Okay.
I don't think it's too soon to do it. I think it gets at least 6 Oscar nominations.
I mean, we can take a look and see what's up. Sorry, one sec. It's think I'm right. We are all set. You are guessing above 85. I'm a little bit more optimistic, above 90. Let's see what happens.
I probably should have said 87, but whatever. It's too late. I have
All
a
right.
feeling it's going to come in at like 88, 89. That's kind of where I'm thinking.
All right. Well, let's talk about the next film, Spider-Man: Brand New Day. So we've talked a lot of Spider-Man on the show. We didn't do this with the Odyssey, but we really should have referenced all the other Christopher Nolan films we've covered. But with Brand New Day,
well, it hasn't been that many, right? It's only been what, 2?
Well, we've covered
3.
The Dark Knight. We've covered Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah, and Oppenheimer, and that's
Oppenheimer. Yeah, that's right. So not a ton.
Only 2. Yeah.
But with Spider-Man, of course, we covered Homecoming, and we've covered in relation Spider-Man 3.
Right, which is both technically unrelated to this series of Spider-Man films, although it sort of is because of what they did.
Yeah, which
is interesting. Be related, but it is.
Yeah. Well, just to put us back on the relation track and keep things all relative, let's think about the Tom Holland Spider-Man films. And this is a shout out to beloved guest Ivan Calixto, because when I was talking to him about this episode concept and I brought up Brand New Day, he said, well, where do you think the Tom Holland Spider-Man films actually landed Rotten Tomatoes wise? And this actually shocked me because I never looked at each film and where they actually landed. I would have guessed other scores, but Homecoming, of course, came in at 92%. Far From Home, 91%. And the film No Way Home, which you and I have openly had our criticisms of, has come in at 93%. So Spider-Man films do really well. And they've always done really, really well. Box office and, it seems, Rotten Tomatoes wise.
I was also surprised, which I kind of said at the top of the episode. I was like,
yeah,
90s for all this? It's like, did they see them?
But I think that is where the question becomes, is it less about the genre, more about just who Spider-Man is and how he matters in pop culture? This is also a film with a ton of buzz. I mean, there's been a while since we've had a Marvel film, which, depending who you ask, that's a good thing.
Yeah, I think it's a good thing.
Yeah. And I don't know, I feel like wherever I go, whether in walking around there's billboards for Brand New Day, it's all over my Instagram feed with spoilers. I feel like every YouTuber is covering some sort of prediction for Brand New Day. There's a ton of buzz around this film,
as there should be with any Spider-Man film. You know, one of the questions you had written down here. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, you were going there, and like I totally agree. It's just we're in the realm of superhero fatigue, right?
Yes, as we should be. We've gotten 20 plus years of it. Now, here's what I would say. I think Spider-Man is pretty much immune to that. I think Spider-Man is popular enough as a character that there will always be successful Spider-Man films. Spider-Man is beloved. I think you and I and Ivan agreed. What are like the biggest superhero IPs in the world? It's Batman #1. I'd say Spider-Man #2. I was going to say Superman. I don't feel that way anymore. I think it's Spider-Man. Now, if you want to say the Avengers, you could throw that in there too. I think Spider-Man, what sets Spider-Man apart, right, is the Avengers. I don't view the Avengers as one IP. It's a group. I think Spider-Man's the most popular Marvel character. Not a hot take, I don't think. He's more popular than Iron Man, despite all the Robert Downey Jr. stuff. He's more popular than Captain America, certainly more popular than the Hulk. Spider-Man is beloved.
I completely agree with you. I think that you can look at a lot of recent Rotten Tomatoes scores and even just box office numbers. I'm a big fan of comics. You know that. Listeners know that. And as much as I enjoyed watching the Thunderbolts film, it just wasn't as accessible for a lot of audiences. But Spider-Man is universally beloved. He is an icon when it comes to superhero films. And those Rotten Tomato scores really speak to that. I mean, let's think about the superhero fatigue. Originally, we were going to cover Supergirl for this episode, and I had my guess of I didn't think it was going to do very well. Now, there's a lot of reasons for that. And I don't think necessarily it's just because of superhero fatigue, but where did it land officially? 70%? 69%?
I think less. I think
Yeah,
less.
like it did terribly at the box office. Or sorry, it did terribly on Rotten Tomatoes. It did terribly at the box office. In terms of like Captain America,
54.
Okay, so it did pretty bad.
Yeah.
Captain America Brave New World, which was a huge film for Marvel, 46% Rotten Tomatoes score. I think it barely made even on the worldwide box office.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't it like maybe broke even.
Yeah, and like that was a really big turning. I mean, that was one of the big reasons we have a huge slowdown with Marvel content and the strategy shifts towards just less. And right now we haven't had a Marvel film in a long time.
When was the last one?
Fantastic Four. That was like last summer.
And that didn't make great money either, right?
No. So if there was ever going to be a Marvel film that I think Disney, Marvel, Sony could really think, well, should be a shoe-in to do well, I think Spider-Man is a good bet. But how good? Because there's a lot of expectations around that. Is Spider-Man truly impervious to a bad Rotten Tomatoes score?
I mean, never say never, but I didn't even see the entire movie of No Way Home. I'm trying to be nice here. I didn't see the whole movie. I saw a good chunk of it, probably 40 minutes of it. I thought it was terrible. I was shocked to see that 93% Rotten Tomatoes score. But it doesn't mean everything. I didn't see the whole movie. Maybe it's only a horrible 40-minute chunk. I don't know. I think this film will do well. I think this premise looks good. I just watched the trailer for it. For you, I think it looks good. I think people like you will enjoy it. I think most general audiences will enjoy it. I won't be seeing it unless I'm forced to cover it for the podcast. That's just largely because I've retired from covering most superhero films.
Yeah,
but I think this movie will do well.
Yeah, and I'm a comic book fan. I want to be optimistic, but like, look, there's a lot of things that do have me think like, could this be it? Do I think that is it going to break the 90% streak or the above 90% streak of the Tom Holland Spider-Man films? Well, there's a ton of superhero fatigue. Superhero films are bombing left and right. And it does give you a little pause, especially if you're thinking like, is it going to be guaranteed to do exceptionally well? Now, other things that we want to look at, it's a big cast. John Bernthal's in it. Mark Ruffalo's returning as the Hulk. There's probably going to be a lot of surprise Marvel characters in here, just like they do with the previous Spidey films. And another thing that wanted to note, which is I think interesting of note, John Watts isn't directing this one. We have a new director, Destin Daniel Cretton, and I think you do have to give a lot of credit to Watts for how he's been able to package Spider-Man films for those first 3 Tom Holland ones.
I'm going to be a little harsher,
okay,
but somewhat positive for the defense of this film. I don't really think the director matters at this point. One of my issues with Homecoming and to the chunks of the other films that I've seen is they are the most cookie-cutter, bland, generic-looking Marvel films I've ever seen. This is assembly line Marvel at this point. And yes, I understand this is technically a film that's made by Sony, whatever, or released by Sony, whatever. I don't think the director matters. I think they're being handed a script. They're being told what to do by the Marvel and Sony executives at this point. This is a very different take on Spider-Man than Sam Raimi, who I think had a pretty decent amount of creative control, at least on the first 2 films. The less said about Spider-Man 3, the better. So I'm not knocking John Watts, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I just think, I think the directors on these latter day Marvel films are less important than something like the Odyssey.
No, I mean, that's a fair criticism. I think that I'm just giving a bit more credit to him. We probably have like there's a bit of a combined effort around, he didn't do anything to really steer the ship, like, and sink it. But he did a decent enough job directing that each film was able to break 90% on Rotten Tomatoes, at least.
I think anyone could have directed them, personally. Nothing against John Watts. Here's what I would say. He couldn't have done the Raimi movies.
No. And those are very different films.
Yeah.
Very different.
Yeah.
And like,
I wish we got more Spider-Man like that.
Yeah, but those are very different films. And we have listeners, go check out our Homecoming episode for more about our thoughts on Homecoming and the style of Disney Channel's Spider-Man.
You did agree with me on that, right? It's Disney Channel Spider-Man.
Yeah, I mean, because that's on purpose. Like that is on purpose.
Don't do anything too edgy.
Yeah.
Spider-Man can't punch anyone in the head. We can't have that.
All right. Well, that's a lot of speculation. That's a lot of bringing together some pretty hard facts. All right. Where do you think this film is going to land Rotten Tomatoes wise? Now, there's options on above 85, above 90, above 95, if you are so ambitious to think.
Can I go a little doomsday on you now?
Sure.
A shameless Avengers pun?
Okay.
I'm going to say above 70 with really nothing else to go on. I don't know anything about this director. I don't know anything about the villain. I don't know anything about this film other than the trailer, which didn't tell me a whole lot.
Do you think it's going to break 90?
I mean,
because maybe we could go with that.
I don't know. I thought, I mean, the second and third ones were so shit, in my opinion.
Yeah, Pat, I love your conviction. I want to see that conviction with this bet. Because
you know what I mean, though. Like, I don't know what to think, though. Like, I thought those movies stunk, and they both broke 90. So this could break 90.
Okay. So, but you're gonna play it safe, go above.
No,
70.
You know what? I'll say above 90.
Above 90. Okay.
Sure.
How sure are you? Do you want to would you say it's a $20 bet, a $5 bet?
I'm not. I am far less sure than I am about something like the Odyssey.
Okay. Well, I feel. I'm just not going to buck the trend. And I feel like there's just enough in play that this is still going to be a successful film. The Rotten Tomatoes score is still going to fit that same trend. I think it's also going to be above 90. I'm going to do this. I'm going to put down a $20 bet for the both of us. Right now it's saying if Spider-Man does get above 90%, that's a $27.98 payout. And we'll just split that in half. So
fair enough.
All right. So bets in. We'll see how it lands. Now, the fun part is we can see how that changes over time as more reviews come in, as the prediction market shifts, because of course it can change.
So that's in theaters. When is it? July 31st? Yeah. You want to bet box office too? That's going to make $1 billion.
We could, but I think maybe there is you could do it on Kalshi for how much you think the box office is going to be. But where do I think it's going to make? I think Spider-Man's probably going to make about, I'm going to go ahead and say it's going to break $1 billion globally.
Because the last one almost made $2 billion, right?
Yeah. So that's
that's
pretty
outrageous.
Safe bet.
Yeah, the Odyssey too. I think will break it. If Oppenheimer can make $900 million, the Odyssey can make $1 billion. With the caveat, one thing to keep in mind with that, if you do place a bet on it, is the Odyssey is rated R.
So was Oppenheimer, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and then where did Oppenheimer net out? Like $1 billion?
Almost $1 billion.
Yeah, so
like nine something. It was a lot. It was a lot.
That's a monumental film for a lot of reasons.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that's what I mean. If Oppenheimer can make almost $1 billion, the Odyssey certainly can.
Yeah. All right. Well, we are locked in. Again, folks, we are not providing any advice on where to bet. This is just our opinions. But hey, let's see how things land, right?
Let's see how they land.
Well, this has been quite a fun first episode with the prediction markets and being on Kalshi. And yeah, I'm really excited to see where our predictions land with this.
Me too. Looking forward to it. Yeah, so this episode will be out before the Odyssey releases. Hopefully as soon as I can get it edited and slapped together. And listeners, let us know in the comments what you think. If you've done any of the Kalshi stuff, let us know. But, that's it for this episode of Why Wasn't It Better? Thanks for listening, and see you next time when Season 11 begins.